You asked and you shall receive. It is the Wobbly cat intake protocol. What do we do when a wobbler enters the chat? Well, it's quite simple, really. No, it's not. Rule number 1, never assume. Let me repeat that again. Rule number 1, never assume. I will scream this until the day that I die. I don't care how many wobblers you've seen and how much it mimics CH. We are going to rule out everything else before we decide to go with that diagnosis. Why? Because while CH is all fine and dandy, it is absolutely crucial that we do not miss something that's a little more bonk than wonk. So let's start with this. What is CH, or cerebellar hypoplasia, otherwise known as wobbly cat syndrome? Well, this, my friends, is a harmless, non-progressive, let me repeat it again, non-progressive neurological condition caused in utero when mother cat becomes extremely ill, typically with panleukopenia, and consequently the kitten's cerebellum, or the portion of the brain that controls motor function, does not fully develop. How much or how little or what parts of that cerebellum develop determines how wobbly and where they are wobbly. Therefore, one wobbly kitty is not like the other. Personal side note, I would really love to know whether or not CH cats have antibodies to panleukopenia. Calling the wonky professionals. Now, while CH is non-progressive, they can actually build strength and muscle development as they grow, giving the illusion of improvement, but really they are just learning and developing how to navigate the world with their wobbly body. So a lot of severe cases as kittens actually become very independent as adults, and we help increase those odds through physical therapy. And this is also why I felt it was so important to not have them in a crate simply because of ringworm. Now, while we're gonna Ghostbuster style disinfect this room to heck and heck, it was more important to me that they gain strength and mobility than potential threat of a harmless but annoying fungal infection. Alright, well, now that you know what the most commonly talked about wobbly cat condition is, let's move on to our intake protocols in particular. Now, I don't care how certain our team believes that this is CH, we are going to start off with some basic blood work. Why? Because 1, if there's one thing wonky, there might be another thing wonky that we are not seeing. Blood work is never a bad idea. 2, because there are some internal issues that can cause neurological conditions to present, and it is very important that those are addressed and not overlooked. Assuming CH can be detrimental. Now, while we understand that resources may limit the potential to do this, we personally will run a titer test for toxoplasmosis, a parasitic infection that can cause similar neurological symptoms. Megan, why do you run a titer test instead of a PCR? Let me tell you, because the PCR will detect the present infection of toxo, but these neurological symptoms can remain or stay permanent after the toxoplasmosis infection has already left the system. And so the titer test will tell us whether they have ever been exposed to toxo. And in these cases, we will oftentimes see the neurological symptoms subside over time. I even saw this play out in action once with one of Phoebe's foster pals. The PCR was negative, but the titer test was positive. Case cracked. Now, if this test is unavailable to you, some vets may guide you through treatment for toxoplasmosis out of precaution. So what if we do if all comes back normal? Do we assume it's CH? No. Never assume. Now we're gonna watch them for at least 2 months to determine whether there is any progression of the neurological issue. If the wobbly at all worsens and there are any new symptoms outside of that, we are not going to go with the CH diagnosis, especially if there is any seizure activity. And as much as I love neurological cases, they can also be the most problematic. That is why it is so important to catch and address anything very early. Neurological conditions are no joke, kinda sorta. So you make it through the 2-month watch period and you're feeling pretty good about it. Can you diagnose CH then? Actually, no, you can never really diagnose CH unless you do like a CT scan or an MRI. But alongside your vet, not you, your vet can pretty confidently go with that diagnosis. Woohoo, you made it through intake protocol. Ours, that is unique to its own and ever-changing. Alright, so now you want to know some tips and tricks and the best way to care for these guys. Well, we're gonna go into that in the next video. See you over there.